members who've been here for 3 years or fewer, myself among them. And, and we have 4 brand new people this year. So that said, I can't imagine how if any president that this body elects at any point in the future or past does the job with even half the dedication and decency of Councillor McCarthy, then this body is in very good hands going forward. So, I mean, that applies to anybody who tackles this job from here on. I couldn't imagine a better person to the task.
Councilor David Epley, Ward 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. As one of the new guys, I want to specifically thank our president for his service. Everyone who's been here for at least a couple of years has been helpful to me, and I'm probably speaking for my new colleagues as well in that regard, but specifically to President McCarthy. His door's always open, his phone's always available to call, and I've bounced ideas off of him privately, which I've really appreciated his input on. It's been very helpful to this guy quite a bit, and I agree with my colleague from Ward 5 that you can't ask for a better person, and it's certainly for a new guy that's been very much appreciated.
Anyone else? Councilor, you're allowed to come back up here.
Thank you. All right. Now we can get back to the meeting, right? Appreciate that. Thank you. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $32,475 from receipts reserve sale of vaults to DPS equipment account.
Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrell moves for suspension of rules. Under discussion, Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move for adoption.
Councilor Terrell moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to replace the DPS vacuum truck. We have a second appropriation where some of the money is coming out of a different account with this, but basically our vacuum truck doesn't and hasn't for quite some time. And it has failed pretty much entirely. This has been a problem, especially at this time of the year. We've had issues with trash and leaf pickup, and this is street cleaning. This has been an issue for some time. It's taken a while to get to this point, and we're hoping to get this replacement vacuum truck in sooner than later to try and get up on some of this backlog as we get into winter.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, and Councilor Terrell's motion for adoption. All is in favor? All is opposed? Oh, look at that. Peace came on. Further communications with the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $10,825 from receipts reserve sale of vaults to DPS equipment account.
Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrell moves for suspension of the rules.
Thank you. I further move for adoption.
Councilor Terrell further moves for adoption. Under discussion, Councilor Terrell.
Mr. President, this is the second part of the equipment involved. This is the trailer unit for the truck.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, and Councilor Terrell's motion for adoption. All is in favor? All is opposed? That's better. Further communications with the mayor.
We have an order to accept a donation in the amount of $2,000 from Drew's Donuts, DD, to be deposited in the Salem Police Department K-9 donation fund.
Councilor Terrell.
Mr. President, I move for adoption.
Councilor Terrell moves for adoption. Under discussion, Councilor Terrell.
Hey, Mr. President, I would like to really thank our local Dunkin' Donuts for helping us with our K-9 donation fund. We've been able to really expand the K-9 program. It's been a huge success. The dogs have been a tremendous asset to the city, and it's wonderful that we can support this here, and I really appreciate the community support that we get for them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, and Councilor Terrell's motion for adoption. All is in favor? All is opposed? Further communications with the mayor.
We have an order to rename the Bike Path Committee to the Bicycling Advisory Committee.
There you go. Councilor Girard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Girard moves for adoption. Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. As my colleague from across the aisle pointed out, that this is a new name change, that the Bike Path Committee feels that they has voted that they are doing more work, more comprehensive work about how people are getting around the city, and this falls in line with what we're doing with the Complete Streets Coalition, with Mass in Motion Coalition, and this is just a great opportunity to continue to support them in their goals to develop really good biking policies around the city.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further communications with the mayor.
We have a communication from the mayor requesting a special meeting with the city council to discuss the payment in lieu of taxes agreement and separate community benefit agreement with Footprint Power.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Move for adoption of the request of the mayor for the meeting of the council committee of the whole for next Monday. Is that correct?
It's a Monday, yes.
Yes.
It's a special council meeting.
Special council meeting.
Councilor O'Keefe moves that the mayor's letter be received and filed and the special meeting be held on Monday, December 15th, 2014 at 7 p.m. Under discussion? Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. As I previously mentioned to you, I would hope that we could get something from the mayor explaining and detailing, outlining this well before the Monday meeting. I hope she doesn't expect us to take a look at it Monday and vote on it Monday, because I certainly will not do that.
Recognize Councilor Ward 1, Robert K. McCarthy.
Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleague from Ward 3 sent an email to the mayor and myself earlier this week, and I exchanged a text message with the mayor, and I had a conversation with her yesterday, I believe. And she assured me that even as we speak, the lawyers on both sides of this agreement, it's a very comprehensive agreement, and I respect everyone's. I know I've talked to a few people that want to see it as well, myself included, and the mayor assures me that even if the final I's haven't been dotted and the T's haven't been crossed on the agreement, that she's going to get us a draft agreement by some point tomorrow, so that at least we have the weekend to go over it. It may change a little bit between tomorrow and Monday when we get the final, but hopefully it will be reflective enough of the expressed concerns and everything that's being addressed in the agreement. I couldn't agree more. It's a very exciting agreement. As all of us who have followed it in the paper have driven down there and seen what's going on. The coal building's gone, the coal chute's down, one of the stacks is almost down, all the oil tanks are gone, they're ready to move forward. The article in the paper about them getting the one-year extension. This agreement will be the last piece in the puzzle in their whole financial package when they go to basically, when they're out looking for investors to invest close to $1 billion in our community in a new power plant. So this is the last piece, and it also affects a bunch of different things, including the Department of Revenue and what's approved and how we make up the difference between the 4.75 and what the agreement is for this year, because obviously the power plant isn't up and running, so they're taxed on their ability to make money and generate power, which they're doing neither at this point. So the agreement will be very comprehensive, and I had the conversation with the mayor, so she assures me that at some point tomorrow, if not, hopefully sometime tomorrow in the afternoon, everyone will receive a copy of that in.
Councilor Siegel's further question about Councilor Siegel.
Through you to Mr. I guess he's down here, so Ward 1 Councilor. Can we receive that, if it's going to be in the afternoon, we close at noon, can we receive that via email? Can someone reach out to the mayor?
Yes, it'll become via email.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Epley, I his hand.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would just note that all of the councilors received an email from the mayor, I think a couple of weeks ago, providing an invitation to talk with her specifically about the substantive terms as a work in progress. I took her up on that opportunity. Spent a good half an hour to 45 minutes talking with her earlier this week, and I hope that my colleagues took her up on that opportunity as well.
Mr. President, it says community-based benefit. What is that? Maybe you addressed Councilor Siegel's asking her what that is. What is a community-based agreement?
On top
I know
of,
what a pilot is, but what's community CBA?
On top of the pilot agreement, as part of the whole project, if I may, Mr. President, the city negotiated a community benefits agreement, which basically outlines, I don't have it in front of me. I've seen drafts of it over the course of time. I sat on the committee that we tried to work that out. They are, on top of the taxes they pay over initially they're going to pay for traffic improvements, they're going to pay for paving. There's a whole litany list of different things, which we'll all see on Monday, but that's part of the pilot agreement is for their taxes, and also then when you look at the community benefits agreement, that's an agreement separate from the taxes of which they're going to make annual payments to do certain things. There'll be whether or not they do a traffic study and they need to put a traffic light in, road repavement, there's a whole litany list of things. Potholes, exactly.
Free electricity?
So. Yeah, no, we can only hope.
Everything's negotiable.
Any other questions? Josh, you have, Councilor Turiel has a question, Councilor.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's not, just, you know, the community benefits agreement is going to be very comprehensive and include things like, you know, access to their deep water port and how that's managed. For instance, the footprint before them, Dominion, funded a substantial portion of our July 4th celebration. They would memorialize it in their agreement, in their formal agreement. Things like that. Some of the contributions they make to the school system. So those are the kind of things that are generally contained within a community benefits agreement. That's typically that institution like this handle. And also as a reminder, as part of this, we'll discuss this far more on Monday, but as a reminder to this as well, one thing we keep in mind is right now we have a figure, whatever figure we receive in the actual tax side, the direct revenue side from the plan, any difference between what they give us and 4.75 million that's the ceiling basically and the floor in revenues for the next until 2019. If we, for instance, get $1 million in revenue from the site on between taxes and fees from the site next year, just to pull an example out, we would be getting 3.75 million from the fund set up by the state as part of the hold harmless that former Representative Keenan was able to arrange with the state for us. So we have that as a floor for revenue for those years, and our hope is that by the time that 2019 comes around, the plant will be up, operating, paying the investors back, and making enough money as part of the, as part of the regional grid that we're once again making money for the city off that plant and its contribution. Because there once was a time in the city when, back in the days when it was Dominion and before, that plant provided $8-9 million of revenue towards our city's coffers, and not what it had dropped to by the time they shut down.
Any other remarks? Councilor McCarthy, you want to come back?
Yep.
Anyone else? Seeing none, on Councilor O'Keefe's motion that we hold a special meeting on Monday, December 15th at 7 p.m. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council ordered December 11, 2014, that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-post with the Committee of the Whole, meet to review any and all ordinances relative to vehicle for hire operators and vehicles for hire, and that the following be invited: all licensed taxi cab and limousine companies, the mayor or her designee, the city solicitor, the chief of police or his designee, and a representative from police traffic and the city clerk or her designee.
Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, as I'm sure the members of the council and the viewers at home and in the gallery are aware, there was a 43-year-old man that was struck and killed by a taxi cab operator last week. And as it turned out, that the particular licensee in that circumstance had an expired license, at least according to news reports. And I know that the police department has that particular case under investigation. But for that particular person, our city council approved his license in September of this year, just 3 months ago today, as a matter of fact, at this meeting. And I just think it's appropriate, given the gravity of this circumstance, that we just take a look, make sure that we are doing everything that we can do to ensure that we have licensed, appropriate people who are operating our cabs throughout the city, that our taxi cab companies have their own due diligence processes in place, and that, you know, I know that the police have done a good job, but just want to make sure that they continue to do a good job in looking over it, and that we have this as a meeting for everyone to basically get around this issue, and hopefully, if there are some changes to be made, make the changes.
Thank you. Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to discuss on this meeting, and I know it's relative to vehicles for hire, operators and vehicles for hire. If we can maybe extend this to also discuss regulations and lack of regulations for driving companies like Uber and Lyft who are in the city, because the city of Salem has pretty extensive regulations. You know, as a former member of OLA, what these drivers have to go through. We've had multiple years of taxi cab ordinances and regulations. We had some really, when I first got on the council, the first couple of years, I swear every other month was a meeting with taxi cab drivers, and one in particular. And, you know, this is really affecting the taxi cab industry, as right now there really aren't any rules for Uber and Lyft. If we're going to look at regulations and what we're doing for Salem City taxi drivers, we should also look at these other drivers who are driving as taxis in Salem.
So you want to make that a form of amendment?
Yes, please.
I would accept it as a friendly amendment.
No problem.
Mr. President,
Councilor O'Keefe.
I'll yield to someone else.
Nope, no one else has their hand up. I look first. Go ahead.
Sure. Members of the council, I didn't bring the Wall Street Journal today, but yesterday there was an article in there about Uber, and there's another company, it's YTX, okay. And they in Salt Lake City, I read in USA Today Monday that they have rules and regulations dealing with this type of calling someone on the phone and having them show up. But if people are listening at home, imagine calling, and our committee deals with people who have had their license suspended and what have you for all kinds of infractions, as Councilor Lepke brought up. But imagine getting on the phone or getting on your app and dialing for the cab, and someone shows up that has been convicted of rape. And how do you know that? Dealing with, hello, you're dealing with Uber. How do you know that? You don't. If you want to volunteer and want to get paid so much an hour, you sign up. But you sign up with a junk or a tin can as a car, get in there and take somebody somewhere, you have no authority. When we check, when this city council and the city clerk office checked on licenses for taxi cabs, this went through the police department. Application, they're reviewed by them down there. They make sure they have a license the day that they have put down there, and they check. And the committee will know that that's on there. We heavily regulate this business, and so does the city clerk. We're conscious of public safety and people getting in taxi cabs, that they're good, safe, reliable, honest people, men and women that do this. But when you call on the phone with an app to send me a cab somewhere, God bless you where you wind up.
Thank you. Councilor Famico, then Councilor Legault.
Mr. President, first off, I think the Uber and Lyft conversation will be a lot more involved. I do know specifically for Uber, they do have a policy that checks it nationally. It does not include fingerprinting, though, which is what Salem has. And that's been a point of contention in many different communities. But as far as it connected with the good councilor from Ward 4's, I think it will be a big can of worms to open up in one night, especially with all the people invited. So with that, I personally would like to keep it separated into two due to what other communities are facing already, if it's the will of the body, though.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. President.
Councilor, hold on, Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. I'm not going to oppose bringing this before the committee right now, but I would like to say I do believe that we're jumping the gun, all due respect. There's a police investigation going on here. Respectfully, we should wait for the police investigation to be completed so that they can tell us what their findings are, and then make the decision whether or not we need to get involved, which I'm sure we will have to get involved, and we will have to call these companies in. But out of respect to the police department, and out of respect to the process, the investigative process, I don't think we need to be sticking our nose in this yet. We will eventually have to stick our nose in it, without a doubt. But we're jumping the gun a little bit here. The Uber-Lyft conversation, I think they should be separated. That's a huge subject. There are things going on internationally on that in India. There are things going on nationally in California and in Washington State. And the governor has recently introduced some potential legislation at a state level concerning that. The Uber-Lyft subject has been near and dear to my heart. I've actually been speaking with councilors from Peabody and from Beverly and selectmen from Danvers about whether or not regionalization on taxi services are something that we should be looking at. We've not done this formally. It's something that I intend to bring to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs next year. I think it's a conversation we need to have. This is something that does need to be spoken about. So, as I said, I will not oppose bringing this to the committee tonight, if that's the will of the body, but I think we're jumping the gun on the tragic accident. We need to let the police investigation play out. The Uber-Lyft thing, we're definitely going to have to be taking a look at that. Eventually, we should separate the issues if we're going to do that tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I guess my only suggestion would be that, well, we can take the vote on the amendment, but I think that both merit a lot of conversation, and I think it would be up to I agree with what's been said, the committee chair for next year, whoever's going to chair that committee, has the leeway to wait and to have that meeting until there's a discussion with the police department. I think that is merited, warranted, because currently there is an investigation going on, and that may be resolved by the time we meet again in January. It may not be, but that would be up to the discretion of the committee chair. But first we'll take up the matter of the amendment to the order, which would be to include the conversation, because the original order talked about reviewing any and all ordinances relative to vehicle for hire, which the addition of Uber or any other company of that would fall kind of under that. So Councilor Siegel introduced an amendment to the order that it also include Uber and, what was the name of the other company? Lyft.
The Y.
Is there a second on the, seconded by Councilor Terrell? All those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? None, seeing just one. So now we take up the order. Councilor Eppley has moved that this matter be, as amended, be sent to the Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs, co-posted to the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Councilor Eppley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, City of Salem in the year 2014, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time is hereby amended by adding the following street. Repeal Abbott Street in front of number 3 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Eppley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the current resident at Abbott Street at number 3 does not have a handicap, and so it's no longer necessary. And so we're just essentially seeking to repeal that particular parking spot and have it as regular parking.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Eppley's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor, all those opposed? Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2014, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time is hereby amended by adding the following street. Repeal Winthrop Street in front of number 70 at the property line for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Siegel.
The resident has moved away and the space is no longer needed.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Siegel's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further motions, order, resolutions. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the year 2014, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking time, limited time, is hereby amended by adding the following street, Dunlap Street, in front of number 12 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not much discussion. The family needs handicap parking in front of their home.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Further motions, order resolutions. Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the City Council. An ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, quote unquote, is hereby amended by adding the following street. Station Road in front of number 23 for a distance of 20 feet, 20 feet, handicap park and tow zone. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by the City Council.
Under discussion, Councilor O'Keefe.
No comments,
No
legitimate
comments.
request.
Seeing no other comments on Councilor O'Keefe's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further motions or resolutions, Councilor O'Keefe.
Next one is a simple one. City of Salem, City Council, December 11th, 2011, if they were all simple. Ordered that the attached tag date for the Salem High School cheerleading be held on 12/21/2014, 1/11/2015, and 1/25/2015 be granted. No remarks.
On seeing no other remarks on Councilor O'Keefe's motion for adoption, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further motions, order resolutions. We took up that one. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2014. An ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 74. General prohibition towing zones is hereby amended by adding the following street. Pratt Street, beginning at the intersection of High Street Court in a southerly direction both sides in its entirety, to numbers 16 to 18 Pratt Street, no parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Under discussion, Councilor Famico.
This particular street, if you went down it, it is very narrow, that if there is a car on it, it would make it so that a fire truck or the like would be unable to make it down. So this is just public safety.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Famico's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further motions, order resolutions. Councilor Sergeant.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 11, 2014, ordered that there be a moratorium on the issuance of new home rule petition liquor licenses, except for applications located in the B5 zone district, and also a moratorium on the issuance of new seasonal liquor licenses, except for the applications located in the B5 zone district and applications located on City of Salem property, until Council Order Number 655 of 2014 is completed and an ordinance is in place. This order will not affect existing liquor licenses or prevent their renewal. In discussion.
Under discussion, Councilor Sergeant.
Thank you, Mr. President. We, beginning in 2008 and then in 2010, we had a committee going for about a year. We brought in rules. The rules were in place, but the order was to continue and form an ordinance, and somehow that fell through the cracks. So this moratorium simply is probably the least restrictive moratorium I've ever heard of, because all it does is reaffirm the rules that are in place. There's nothing that's currently allowed by the rules in place that this moratorium wouldn't allow. It just puts a moratorium on changes until we get back in committee, get the downtown business district, some neighborhood people in place, and then finish forming an ordinance. So that's all I was asking with this. It wouldn't change the way anybody does business, wouldn't change any existing licenses, wouldn't change any renewals, and also I wanted to make sure that we're able to get our golf course and our Salem Ferry Landing that's already there renewed. So it wouldn't change anybody to be able to do anything that's already being done. So with that in mind, I would ask for adoption of the measure. If you could, please.
Under discussion, we'll go Councilor Legault, Councilor Epley, and then Councilor Famico. Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, I worked on that committee a few years ago along with you and my at-large colleague, and we worked hard on that, and we came up with some pretty good rules. We did believe that it was going to become an ordinance, but it did not, and the fact that it did not is on this body. I don't see where it's on anybody else. This body did not act on those rules to make it an ordinance. Not a terrible thing. I don't think we need to impose a moratorium here. My colleague's own words, it's really not going to do anything except reinforce the rules that are already in place. In effect, we do have a moratorium. We don't issue any licenses unless somebody comes up and asks for it. And then they have to come before the council, and we have the option of saying no, which we've been known to do. I hold up as an example that gentleman that wanted to open his convenience store on Salem Street till 3 a.m. not too long ago. I think we said no to him quite firmly. I understand we want to take care of residents in this city and those outside the B5 district and make sure that they're not subjected to foolishness by people drinking late at night, over drinking and driving and things like that. But at the same time, we need to protect some of the small business owners in Salem. So we have rules in place. The rules work. Nobody is disputing that. I see no reason to issue a moratorium that only says, look, we have rules, and here's a moratorium pointing to those rules. So I will oppose this respectfully. I worked hard on that committee. I think we came up with some good rules, and I think if we want to make it an ordinance next year, then we can go ahead and do that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Epley.
I will be voting no for the same reasons that previous speaker just elucidated.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Following up on that, my issue with this is the fourth line down. It says is completed and an ordinance is in place. Whether or not that ordinance happens, we're still gridlocked. This is gridlocking the council whether or not the ordinance is completed and whether or not a new business is coming into the city. If we think of what we've approved in the last couple meetings, for example, the addition to the Hawthorne Hotel, we also have the waterfront and the RCG development. Although this was intended for the B5, you have to think about in the next 10 years, our population will be growing more. We'll have more people coming in the B5. We might have to end up spreading it out a bit more, or we might need other places that the neighbors in the neighborhoods can go to escape these tourists and to escape the downtown and be able to have a place. And I feel as though this is gridlocking us in a bit too much right now, and I'm not in favor of that.
Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would concur here. I think ultimately we have all the tools necessary to impose a moratorium of our own if we so choose, which is simply to refuse a home rule license petition should it come across us. I do think that, and I concur with my at-large colleague here, that there are definitely, there are abuses that have happened, I think, in the past of the seasonal license system. I think the seasonal license has been used as kind of an excuse and a toehold to get through and to make it easier to wedge into a home rule license. We have several businesses in there. They're wonderful establishments, but they have used that loophole to kind of get in the ground floor. The entire state system for allocating liquor licenses is severely flawed with the way they handle quotas and with the way that is so inflexible in how it deals with communities like ours. But that said, I won't support a official moratorium, but I would encourage us to just, if and as these requests come forward, if we do see additional home rule petitions come before this body, I just would encourage us to be very, very selective about what we would choose to approve until such time as we do have any more complex frameworks in place.
Anyone else? Councilor Sargent, did you have your hand up again?
No, I understand. With that in mind, I don't want to have some divisive. I'll withdraw this. I would, if it'd be possible, we simply reaffirm that there's rules in place and we continue to follow them until we have an ordinance in place. That committee did very good work, and I was very, very happy and proud to be on it. And with that in mind, one thing about the committee, that there wasn't one neighborhood person on that committee. Not one neighborhood person didn't ask for it. The mandate from the mayor and the administration was to create a more vibrant downtown. And we spent about 8 months on that that committee, with downtown businesses, Main Street, Rena's from, Chamber of Commerce, who twice by email has reaffirmed the rules, which is very nice to hear, because at times I'm at odds with the downtown business people in my support of the neighborhoods. And everything we did, that committee being all downtown people, was very careful to protect the neighborhoods. Very careful to understand that we wanted to make a more vibrant downtown, but we didn't want to bring downtown to the neighborhoods, just as we have Halloween downtown, but Halloween doesn't end up all over the neighborhoods also. I'm sure we wouldn't want that. So that was very refreshing for that committee to come forward and really reaffirm. One of the terms we used was Hanover Street in Boston. The downtown now, from Tavern in the Square to the Wharf to the Common back to Rockefeller's and through town, is like Hanover Square. People come to Salem now not just to go to a certain restaurant. They come to Salem to go out to eat. They know they'll find one. That's a big step than just coming for a certain restaurant. And it makes our downtown very busy and active, as it was in the old days. Not quite as good as it was in the old days, but, it makes it more active. So I was very happy with that committee for being downtown people and really recognizing that we didn't want to spread out into the neighborhood. So as long as everybody affirms we have those rules in place, I would graciously withdraw the moratorium and not bring this to a vote that may be divisive. Thank you.
Council Siegel.
Hey, Mr. President, to you, I think to the Councilor Sergeant, just a quick question. This is order number 655. Is this still in a committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Carry it forward.
So we can, if so chosen, it can be worked on in committee and then brought out? Okay.
Through you,
Thank you.
Council Sergeant.
It'll be brought out in committee reports that we have that already adopted and move forward with, finishing the ordinance. And that's nothing that has to be done tomorrow. It needs to be a committee formed. And if there's any talk of going into the neighborhoods, I would just ask that we bring in neighborhood group type people so they be properly represented. Thank you.
Thank you. On Councilor Sergeant's retraction of his order. All's in favor? All's opposed? Further motions, order resolutions. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ordered that the rules and orders of the City Council, meetings, quorums, proceedings be amended by adding a new rule as follows. Section 39, use of electronic devices during meetings of the City Council. In order to dispel any appearance of an open meeting law violation and to ensure transparency in the deliberations of the City Council and its committees, use of electronic devices, including but not limited to cellular telephones, tablets, and laptop computers, shall be prohibited during City Council and City Council committee meetings unless authorized by the President of the City Council, or in the case of a committee, authorized by the Chair of the committee.
Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This, for me, goes back to the retreat that we had back in January. And I think at that time there was a little discussion about refraining from the appearance of a violation of open meeting laws, make sure the deliberation is out in public and everybody knows who's talking about what, when, and to whom, and how, and where. And I know that through the year, I've had conversations on and off with the city solicitor. I think probably some of the councilors have had conversations individually as well. And I feel that this is, it's a time to bring this forward. We work hard here to be out in the open, to be transparent, to make sure that anybody that's viewing a meeting or listening to the transcription of or listening to the recording of a meeting knows, again, what kinds of conversations are taking place and among whom. And, the mayor's office tries to do this. This is strictly addressing the open meeting law and strictly trying to prevent any appearance of that violation.
Ooh, lots of hands on that one. Councilor Fury, Councilor Famico, then Councilor Epley.
Mr. President, fellow members, I commend and congratulate Councilor Milo for bringing this up. It's a matter of common sense. It's a matter of transparency, and it's a matter of respect. As a technological wizard myself, no ho-ho, no email, and no Twitter and all that stuff there, I think sincerely, it's common sense, respect, public service, that technology is getting in the way. I see that in the course of the meetings and subcommittee meetings. It goes for all of us there. I think we should really look into this and take it very seriously, that we're in public service. We don't want to be inhibited or restricted or maybe even swayed by some outside source coming into this meeting saying, I heard you at the public meeting and you're going to be doing this and that routine, all by technology. And that's kind of dangerous for public service. It sets a bad precedent. So I commend and congratulate Councilor Milo for bringing this up. And I think we should take it very seriously. Thank you.
Councilor Fumiko.
Thank you, Mr. President. As written, I am not in support of this, predominantly because I think this is taking steps back in where the city government should be going. I could see adding something, for example, for purposes of communication within meetings, but there have been times in this very body that I pulled up a zoning map, or I pulled up the code of ordinances online because I keep my printed copy at home. Or I'll take it then use it to reference something quick. At no point have I communicated or planned to with a body member or somebody else outside of here. But technology, it's a beautiful thing when used correctly, a terrible thing when not used correctly. But if you've looked at other cities and towns that are winning awards for innovation and changes, part of that is whether it's governance by iPad. In the case of Salisbury, they now have their agendas on computers in front of them. It's a way of the now, it's a way of the future. Me personally, I've had a computer at home since I was 5 years old. There will be more like me coming too that will be referencing it, it's what they're used to. So I think this is actually holding us back from where we need to go. I would possibly add a friendly amendment to it says, the third line, use of electronic devices, and then maybe add in for purposes of communication. So that would still allow the references, whatnot, although it still references the council president and the chairs, but that would be allowing it, so a zoning map could be pulled up, so the code of ordinances could be pulled up, and it's not shuffling of papers or carrying 3 binders around to every meeting.
Councilor Upland.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really appreciate the at-large councilor's intent. I understand completely of being transparent and making sure that we don't give any impression that we're communicating with each other outside of these statements that are being made in public, on record, in front of TV cameras, et cetera. That being said, I couldn't agree more with my colleague from Ward 2. This is about today and tomorrow, and frankly, it's about basically the day before yesterday. Smartphones are here to stay, and I can't tell you how many times during these meetings that I have checked a statute, an ordinance, a zoning map. On this particular meeting tonight, I received email from our city solicitor regarding the Mass Appellate Court case regarding whether we were going to fund the neighbors in Ward 7 and Ward 5 regarding the Salem State Garage. I mean, getting the information is getting information is critical in these debates at times, and it is today. I mean, I think we would be ignoring and putting our heads in the sand if we were to ignore having these technological tools. And it's not technology getting in the way, it's technology enhancing. What I would say is I would not agree to the ordinance as written or even as amended. I would say that if we're wanting to do anything, we can just reaffirm an oath that when we are sitting in this body, that we are abiding by the sunshine laws, which is, Mr. President, not communicating with each other aside from talking on the microphones, et cetera. You know, that's perfectly sensible and commonsensical. If the voters disagree with us, there's a mechanism to making sure that we don't come back if that's the case. But I think much more succinctly, we just need to be commonsensical about this. Use these smartphones and tablets and computers as a tool, and not use it as some sort of albatross across our neck of, you know, not being able to not being able to do proper research, et cetera, during the midst of a debate. Thank you.
Council Sarge and then Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just quickly, I would understand those concerns and classify every one of them as unless authorized by the council president or the committee chairman. I don't think there's a committee chairman or a council president ever that would forbid somebody from using whatever tool necessary to do city council business. So I think that fits into here fine.
Council Toro.
Thank you, Mr. President. The way this order is written, I couldn't support it. It's simply, even if with the provision that unless authorized by the President of the City Council, I see it being really disruptive to meetings if somebody does want to use a device in the manner to which some of my colleagues have suggested, to look up, to research a zoning map, research a statute, look for a court case, even look for a news article to learn about an event that we're discussing. Within those kind of uses, to have to authorize each use, or to simply kind of make the whole thing go away by having the president of the body just give a blanket authorization at the beginning of the year, seems to be kind of counterproductive. I think really where any kind of, if there's any kind of violation perceived or real of the open meeting laws, it would be in our using those devices to communicate with one another within, or for that matter, to get instructions or advice from people outside about what we're doing during the course of our meetings. We get instructions electronically. Let me correct that. 10 out of 11 of us get instructions electronically on a regular basis from people as to how they want us to vote on matters. That doesn't mean that we do it, but the way that they instruct us to. But we take those communications into account as we do the written communications, and as we do when we run into one of our constituents on the street and talk to them. It's just another form of communication with people. But within this room, within this body, the tool, there's two different issues at hand here. One is having electronic devices that can assist us in doing our work, and doing the work that the voters have put us here to do. And the other one is where we could be going astray if we did it, which is using electronic devices to try and work aside from what we do on these microphones with one another. I don't send you guys messages that saying how we should be voting on something or trying to do it. I don't get messages from you folks doing the same thing. It's something we're pretty good about avoiding as a body. And so I think for the most part, unless we want to just have a way of reaffirming that electronic devices are not for communication, outside of that, I think this proposed rule is pretty much superfluous. But if somebody wanted to propose putting this into a committee where we could perhaps word it differently, I'd be amenable to that were we to do it, but I wouldn't support it as is.
Council.
Chair recognizes Council Ward 1, Robert K. McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would concur with everything that's been said, and I also want to thank my colleague to my left for bringing this in, because this is something that I have talked to the city solicitor personally about. I believe at one point I actually brought an order in that we never moved on. I really do believe, I would strongly suggest that this matter be referred to a committee, only because I think it does have some merits, because the perception is, and all of us, for good or bad, well, mine's just sitting up there someplace. It's the perception that someone is either you're communicating amongst yourselves or you're communicating with somebody from outside the body. And everybody's entitled to their opinion, but when the 11 of us assemble in this room to conduct business and debate an issue, the debate is amongst ourselves. All the stuff that happened previously. All those communications, all the input, all the understanding of what the issue is happens before you come into the room. But once you're in the room, the debate is limited to what goes on in the room and the information you're getting from whoever's presenting and from whatever you hear from the people from within. And it is a perception that some people have brought up to my attention, is it seems like so-and-so's always on their phone. Well, if so-and-so's on their phone because they're looking up something in their zoning book or looking up something else, that is true. And so I think it's a way is how we address that, whether it's asking permission, or how it's perceived. I think it's worth the debate, because I think not so much outside this body, I think it's because the city solicitor and I have had this conversation, I think it's going to become an issue beyond this body, because I think it is going to be an open meeting law issue that the state ethics committee is eventually going to have to deal with because of the way it is. I was in a room once where a former colleague actually admitted to the fact that he received a message during the meeting and changed his mind on something. I'm like, I can't believe you just admitted to that, because it can't happen. It can't happen. You know, you get elected and you decide to do this job, and the voters decide you're the person to do it, and they expect certain things, and they expect certain things is the integrity of the office and the integrity of the position, that you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And I don't think we need a whole bunch of rules to do this, but I think, you know, if it comes out that it's just a simple rule that your device should be, for whatever purpose, shouldn't, as long as you don't communicate with anybody within the room or outside the room during the course of the meeting. As right before the meeting or right after the meeting, that's fine. But during the course of the meeting, it's right here. So I would suggest that if the at-large counselor is amenable to it, that we refer this to committee. We just come up with, bring the city solicitor in, make it as exact and as compact as we can, and accomplishes what your intent is, because I think the intent is right. But I also agree with the fact that we are in the 21st century, and it is an unbelievable tool to access information that during the course of a meeting that you may want, because you don't have that document in front of you, because for whatever reason. So that would be my only suggestion.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to refer this to, is it Government
Services?
Government Services Committee? Did I miss something?
Through you, Mr. President.
sorry.
I would think this may be OLA versus Government Services.
I would kind of concur with that. I think it kind of fits into the
Okay.
committee's license or legal affairs, yes.
So I would be happy to,
Yep.
see it referred to OLA.
Yep.
I would also encourage and invite my colleagues to, I understand the value of technology, I really do. I use it every day and I do love it. Also, when I get my council package, I look at what's in it and I do my online research before I come into the chamber. So I would invite my colleagues to try to do as much of that as they can. If a zoning map is something that we look at often, maybe we want to have a zoning map in our desk. You know, maybe Ollie will give us all a copy for Christmas or something, you know? I'm happy to send this to a committee where we can have some discussion, because I really do feel that I understand technology is it, and we live in that age, and there are more like my Ward 2 counselor colleague coming. But we do, I agree with you, we have to have this discussion, and I think it's better to head something like this off at the pass than have to react to it down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Milo's revised order that this matter be referred to the Committee on License or Legal Affairs, co-post committee. All those in favor? All those opposed? Committee reports. Oh, wait a second, hold on. Any further motions, order, resolutions that weren't on the agenda? Seeing none. Committee reports. Oops, sorry. Councilor O'Keefe.
City of Salem, City Council, December 11, 2014. Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, whom has referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and recommend the following approval. You want me to read them all? Junk dealer?
Waive the reading.
I ask for waiving, unanimous consent to waive the reading of the names and addresses of the licensees.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? Adoption of recommendation?
Move they all be approved.
Councilor O'Keefe moves that they all be approved. All those in favor, all those opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, December 11, 2014. The Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend that 31B is suspended and the enclosed matter be brought forward into 2015. If you wish me to read them all, I'll read them all that are included. There's only one that's going to be discharged.
The motion on the floor is to waive the reading. On the acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed?
Most of them are carried forward.
On the discussion, as Councilor O'Keefe just said, most of the matters in his committee.
There's only one that really is discharged, and that concerns itself with the liquor license at 299 Essex Street for Joseph A. Deasy. He withdrew it and is still in committee. We're just discharging it. It's gone. So all these matters would be carried forward as recommended by the committee.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor O'Keefe.
One more, sir.
Yep.
City Council, December 11, 2004. This is why I want to get rid of this committee. On the Committee on Ordinances, Committee on Ordinances and Legal Affairs, when was before the matter? A co-poster of the Committee of the Whole has considered matter regarding home rule guidelines for seasonal and home rule petition liquor licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption and remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Councilor O'Keefe.
I also call on Councilor Sargent, that large council, if he wants to explore further on this, but we met and adopted this, but remain in committee, so it's adopted, yes, but it's staying in our committee. Further.
Any discussion? Councilor Sargent, any? None?
I'm all set. That's,
Councilor Sargent?
exactly as we placed it. It's what, finishing what was in committee, and the order is to move forward to create an ordinance.
Okay.
I would like, we already have the rules affirmed. I would ask for maybe an addition that we just re-adopt these and send them in with it. We're already do that, if that be the will of the body.
All right?
Yeah.
Move for adoption of the,
Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I just ask for a point of clarification here? So what did we withdraw then? Isn't this what we're talking about?
Withdraw the moratorium.
We
Would you withdraw the moratorium? This
but
is
separate of the matter.
separate.
This is separate,
Okay, thank you very much.
and it's going to remain in committee.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
the motion on the floor is for this matter to remain in committee for action on it for the next committee. All those in favor?
And a second, and just adopt the rules along with them that go with it. That's all the.
You want those rules included in?
Already in there, I just want to put another copy.
Already in there.
We're
Okay.
using them to form an ordinance, that's the.
Okay,
I can do
and so the recommendation would be that the matter that was in front of us as an order be included in the matter that's going to be looked at by the committee.
Correct.
It's all in there already. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's all part of it anyway. Everyone understand?
Understand?
Yep. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, all those opposed? Further committee reports. Councilor O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the City Council, December 11, 2014. The Ordinance, Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-poster Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter amending an ordinance regarding rules and regulations for the care and use of cemeteries, has considered said matter and recommend adoption of the ordinance as amended. And I'll read the ordinance.
And on acceptance of the report, all those in favor, all those opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Councilor O'Keefe.
This is a recommended ordinance for first passage. An ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to cemeteries. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 16, Article 3, Roman numeral 3, Section 110, Fishing and Green Lawn Cemetery. Penalty of a violation be amended by adding the following new section. Fishing will not be allowed in Green Lawn Cemetery, and any violation shall be liable to a fine not exceeding $50. Section 2. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by the city charter.
Under discussion, Councilor O'Keefe.
I would also ask that this council allow Councilor Gerard, Ward 6, to discuss this matter. She's worked closely with Pat Donahue, Chairman of the Sanitary Commission. She could explain explicitly what this is doing.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Cemetery Commission had asked for this because there have been issues in Green Lawn of people leaving trash and leaving the lines in the trees, which have killed other wildlife. And I understand from a lot of people that they've grown up fishing in Green Lawn, but unfortunately, it's a cemetery first. And the Cemetery Commission has voted for this, that they do not want fishing in Green Lawn anymore.
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilor Go.
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. I'm going to vote against this, not because I don't think that we should be respecting the cemetery. I have to respectfully disagree somewhat in that Green Lawn Cemetery, just like Harmony Grove, when these cemeteries were designed and built, they were built as public space, as park space, and cemetery space. People used to picnic there. This is all information that I've gathered from going to Cemetery Commission meetings and reading their stuff. It is a cemetery, but it's also a public space and it's a park. And there is a long, despite the rules that we've had for I don't know how long saying that you can't fish at Green Lawn Cemetery, they've not really been enforced over the years, and there is a long-term standing tradition of people fishing at Sergeant's Pond. Yes, there are some who are irresponsible in what they do there, and they leave a mess behind, and they leave plastic lines tangled in the trees, but that's true of any activity conducted by any group of human beings on the planet. Some of us behave ourselves and conduct ourselves responsibly, and some of us don't. I spent some time this summer going, walking and attempting to jog through the roads of Green Lawn Cemetery, and I see people fishing there all the time, mostly young kids, but there's one grandfather who prefers to remain unnamed, who's teaching his grandson to fish there after 25 years after he, or 30 years after he taught his son how to fish there. Yes, there are other places to fish, but that's a quiet, out-of-the-way place where you can take your son or your daughter or your nephew or your nephew's friend down there to teach him how to fish safely and responsibly. I don't think we should be punishing people for fishing at Sergeant's Pond unless we are going to start chasing down the people who walk their dogs without leashes, and I know we have rules in place for that too, but if we're going to hammer the fishermen, then we need to hammer the dog walkers. And if we're going to hammer the dog walkers and the fishermen, then we have to hammer the bicycle riders and the joggers. Are the joggers doing something wrong also? Is that really respecting the cemetery? Yes, it is, because it's not just a cemetery, it's a public space. And I think that we are over-regulating and creating too many rules and too many restrictions. We have a lot of public space in Salem, but not much of it is as attractive as Green Lawn. And there's not many little, private, quiet fishing holes in Salem. Going down to McCabe Park and fishing off at a pier is not the same thing. So with all due respect to the Cemetery Commission and the people that are upset because the fishing wire gets tangled in the line, in the trees, and I know that a really nice-looking bird got killed there this year because of that, black-crowned night heron, if I remember correctly. I saw the pictures on Facebook. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm sorry. I think that Granddad should be able to take grandson down to Sergeant's Pond and teach him how to cast a line. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess through you to the Ward 6 councilor, I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. Right now, there's a fine's $50 if you're caught fishing, and we want to up that to 100?
No.
What do we want to?
I'll defer to the Ward 6 council.
Bringing it through.
Yep. If you could clarify that, please, Council.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Gerard.
We took under consideration your recommendation, Councilor Siegel, from the OLA meeting on July 17th, and we withdrew the language of asking to raise the fine because, as it turns out, you can't just raise the fines arbitrarily. It has to go through the state. So we withdrew that language. And per the city solicitor's recommendation, we changed the wording so that it will be liable to a fine not exceeding $50.
Wait a second. So it was 50, and now it's going to be up to 50? Are we getting rid of fishing altogether?
Council Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, yes, when we originally presented it, I'm still going back to the July meeting, that when we originally presented it, the Cemetery Commission had wanted to raise the fines to $100.
From 50?
Yes, from 50. And then, and it was your great recommendation of saying, well, no, let's go back, let's rethink about this, and then doing more research on it, learning that can't raise the fines above 50. But we want, the Cemetery Commission would like to have a fine attached to it, just like there are fines, and there is a general regulation of section 1636 that essentially says that whatever rules the Board of Cemetery Commissioners sets, that they can fine anyone who commits a violation up to $50. So we wanted to just have some similar language in this particular ordinance as well.
Council Siegel.
Am I not?
Maybe I'm just not getting it. So
Okay.
if there's a fine right now of $50.
Yes.
So originally wanted to change to 100, but they couldn't.
Okay.
So now.
Got it.
Now.
Got it.
It's still 50 though.
Got it. Okay, so this.
Council Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No
Okay,
problem.
So this,
I'm sure I'm not the only one confused, I hope.
I apologize for the confusion. So this didn't exist before, where
No.
there was nothing, because it was actually, okay, so again, going back to July 17th, you had recommended adding another section after that, section 109, it was chapter 16, article 3, 16-109. So then this was just adding something after it, because there wasn't anything in place specifically on the books saying no fishing.
Okay.
So we wanted to put no fishing, and then we said, hey, how about we raise the fines as well? And then you had brought up the issue, and then we found out that we couldn't raise the fines and everything. So it's literally putting this on the books that says it's official now, no fishing. And then it will be liable up to a fine not exceeding $50.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. President?
Councilor Turiel had his hand up first. Then,
I've got a parliamentary inquiry.
shoot, go ahead.
Is it the case that it is currently legal to fish in Green Lawn Cemetery?
I would say no, but I'll defer to the Ward 6 council because she's immensely involved in this.
Thank you, Mr. President. So right now, there's signs, there were new signs that were put up in the cemetery that specifically say no fishing, but there's nothing officially on the books. So this would be putting it officially on the books.
Okay. Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And Councilor Famico.
I joined
Good hand
Maggie
up.
Fustin, having momentarily been baffled by the whole thing, but I thought my understanding on it from before, when it was first before us, was that the Cemetery Commission had the power on their own to ban fishing within there, and they have done so, but this codifies it in our ordinances and attaches the fine for the violation. So right now, and again, somebody, the Ward 6 councilor can correct me if I misunderstand it, but I believe that the Cemetery Commission has acted to ban fishing at the pond now, and it's in their rules, but it can't be enforced with a fine until we pass it. So right now, they can just go and say, you can't do that, and throw you out or whatever.
One last time, Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No problem. Then Councilor Famico.
Not on the books right now.
Oh, okay.
So this would codify it. This would make it official.
Councilor Famico, then Councilor Legault.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I actually attended the last Cemetery Commission meeting, and while we are adding this here, if you currently went and requested the rules and regulations for the Cemetery Commission, the document does not exist. So by adding it here, not only are we putting in our ordinance, but the Cemetery Commission is supposed to be working with their liaison this winter to make sure that their up-to-date list of rules and regulations is readily available and that it is readable by the public as well.
Okay. Councilor Legault, then Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield the floor to Councilor Milo. My colleague from Ward 2 made my point.
Thank you. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say that I'm going to support my former colleagues on the Cemetery Commission on this, but Council from Ward 2 made a reference to a liaison. I'm not sure who that is.
There isn't one. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the liaison, I meant the city employee who is kind of the connection. So in that case, it'd be Ron Malionik from DPW. He goes to the meetings and also puts their agenda together and whatnot, too.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor O'Keefe.
Through you, Mr. President, members of the City Council. I have a son buried in Green Lawn Cemetery. And there's 3 other spaces there for my wife and me and someone else. It's sacred, in my mind, it's sacred land. It's a cemetery. Now, St. Mary's Cemetery, Catholic Cemetery, has no pond to fish. And Harmony Grove is a private cemetery. The salt stalls and everybody that came over from the Mayflower seem to be buried up there when we go up there for Fireman's Memorial. But I think that's the least the City Council, we don't object. My wife goes up every weekend. We don't object to joggers and people that are walking through the cemetery and whatever. But why people fishing at the end of our road? We're at Harris Circle, and we can look right down. We see the ducks when they're there, but I don't want people there fishing with their poles, what have you. It's a cemetery. And God forbid, you know, we're going to all wind up someplace. And why let this go on? Let's stop this. Stop this. Stop this. Please. I support Councilor. Let's change it. she's put a lot of work in this, and she deserves to have this, Councilor Gerard deserves to have this adopted.
Councilor Epley.
I ask this be, that we have the yeas and nays vote by roll call vote.
Councilor Epley has asked for a roll call vote. I see show of 3 hands. Madam City Clerk, would you call the roll? A yea vote would be to the recommendation from committee. What was the recommendation from committee? The clarification? Councilor O'Keefe? Councilor O'Keefe, what was the recommendation coming out of committee? So I get the yeas and nays correct.
It was to adopt it as submitted as recommended
So a yes
by-
vote would mean to
fine.
adopt the recommendation,
Yes.
and a nay vote would be not to adopt the recommendation.
That's
So a yes vote would be to ban fishing.
Yes. And,
So everyone understands?
yes.
Thank you.
Well, wait a minute.
Sure. I do. I am correct.
All right, okay, as long as you say yes, you're
I'm
right.
correct.
Your last official role, yes.
Yes. Well, maybe.
Thank you, sir.
Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Epley.
No.
Counselor Famico.
Yes.
Counselor Fury.
Yes.
Counselor Gerard.
Yes.
Counselor Legault.
No.
Counselor Milo.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe.
Yes.
Counselor Sargent.
Yes.
Counselor Siegel.
Yes.
Counselor Turiel.
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the ordinance relative to fishing as came out of committee with a positive recommendation, so this roll call vote will verify the adoption of that. We have 11 members voting, 9 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I call for immediate reconsideration.
Councilor Gerard moves for immediate reconsideration. Hopes does not prevail. All's in favor? All's opposed? Opposed. Further committee reports. Councilor Turtle.
Mr. President, Salem City Council, December 11, 2014, the Committee of Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend that Rule 31B is suspended and the enclosed matters be brought forward into 2015.
Under discussion. Councilor Siegel moves to waive the reading.
Thank you, Councilor. This is, we have retained the monthly and year-to-date reports pertaining to the current fiscal year and have discharged all the other matters.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, all those opposed? Councilor O'Keefe.
Yes, but, yes, sir. Councilor Robert K. McCarthy.
City of Salem City Council, December 11, 2014. To the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and recommend that 31 be suspended and that the enclosed matters be brought forward into 2015.
All in favor of accepting the committee report?
Thank you.
Remarks, Councilor?
On a discussion, there was only one matter in committee that we decided to carry forward. It was the committee carries forward item number 196, which is relative to the power plant. Other than that, all the other matters were discharged from committee. Thank you.
All in favor of adoption of the recommendation to discharge? Opposed, so voted. Unanimous.
Mr. President, point of order, back on Councilor Turiel's report, we accepted his report, but we did not adopt the recommendation. We only voted once.
We didn't, huh? On Councilor Epley's motion to move back to Councilor Committee's committee report, all those in favor? On Councilor Turiel's motion for adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. I thought I did that. Communication from city officials, none. Petitions.
We have the following license applications: public guides and taxi operator.
Councilor O'Keefe.
We move to refer to committee on ordinance. No, move there by approved.
Councilor O'Keefe moves these matters be granted. All those in favor, all those opposed? Further petitions.
We have license applications for junk dealers, Seaworm, secondhand clothing, secondhand valuable, and Tag Day.
Councilor O'Keefe.
I move that they be adopted.
Councilor Keefe, no.
Move the committee on ordinance and
Thank you.
legal affairs.
Councilor Keefe moves that these
All
matters be
night,
referred to the
Councilor.
Committee on Licensed or Legal Affairs. All those in
Right.
favor, all those opposed? Further petitions.
We have a list of drain layer contract operator license applications.
Councilor Keefe.
I move that they be approved.
Councilor Keefe moves that these matters be granted. All those in favor, all those opposed? Further petitions.
We have 4 drain layer bonds and 1 sign bond.
Councilor Keefe.
I move that those drain layer bonds be approved.
Counselor O'Keefe moves that these matters, actually, Counselor, it's referred to Committee on Licensed Legal Affairs.
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe moves
Be
that these
returned
matters...
approved, yes.
Counselor O'Keefe moves that these matters referred to the Committee on Licensed Legal Affairs and returned approved. All those in
Yes.
favor, all those opposed? Unfinished business. Counselor O'Keefe. Ordinance. Is there anything else? Unfinished business, right?
Second passage of an ordinance amending
sorry.
zoning map to extend the B5 Central Development District to include 38 Washington Square South.
Counselor O'Keefe, sorry about that. I got carried away. Counselor O'Keefe.
This is a Ward 2 issue, but I just like to, I move for adoption, second and final passage by roll call vote.
Counselor O'Keefe moves for adoption of second final passage by roll call vote. Any discussion?
Remarks again. Now, again, I'm going back in life. This was the home of William Russell Burns and Lukey Burns for years. And I was a Ward 2 councilor. I had signs posted, no ball playing in the Salem Commons. And the Burnses lived at 38 Washington Square South. And every Sunday morning they'd have a football game on Salem Common. In the dead of winter, when it's snowing, they'd have it. And I always remember the Burnses. They lived in this house, and the Harringtons are going to keep this house, this old historic house, and they're going to use it as part of the hotel, and I think it's wonderful. And I asked this Councilor Ward 2, who might want to say some favorable things about this building and the common, and it's just wonderful that they're going to keep this old house with all this history that we have here in Salem.
Any discussion, Council? Councilor Famico.
So I would echo that exactly. The common area is the heart of Ward 2, as many people have heard of that. There is spreading out the arteries, but as many of us know, it's a place for many of us to gather during the summer, the fall, spring as well. Not so much in winter, although I have been known to make a couple snow angels there. But with that particular area in general, I am a big fan of historical preservation. If you look at the districts and our city as a whole, we have history that you can't create. It's a big reason why people come here beyond the witchcraft. It's to see these historic homes and to see the preservation happening. And I'm glad that the Hawthorne Hotel is willing to make those into larger guest rooms to give people that historic feel when they come in, and not necessarily the larger hotel rooms, which some like, but to tie it all in that we have our history, but the history is moving forward too.
Thank you. Any further
Move for
discussion?
adoption, second final passage.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for adoption, second final passage by roll call vote. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of second passage of zoning extending B5 zone to include 38 Washington Square, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending zoning map for the property located at 43 Bridge Street from B4 district to by extending the R2 district to include this parcel.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, I move for second and final passage.
Councilor O'Keefe moves for adoption of a second final passage by roll call vote. Any discussion?
Mr. President?
Councilor Famico. First, Councilor O'Keefe.
Yeah, get a little more history. I told you once before, I used to go down there to see the circuses that would get down the field and back of Bridge Street there, where this location is. However, let me just tell you another point. Salem Plumbing Supply. Where's Salem Plumbing Supply today?
Beverly.
Beverly. Where was it 40, 50 years ago? 43 Bridge Street. This was a location, when I was Ward 2 councilor, I always, had problems backing in there with pipes, and they couldn't get the pipes in the back. That's where they stored all their pipes and things, and the Seminoles owned it, and they were very accommodating in that particular time. And they eventually had enough of my hassling, and probably they moved to Beverly. But that was Salem Plumbing Supply. Great landlords, and I know them to this day, all the Seminoles in Marblehead. But maybe Councilor Heather Famico, Attorney Stephen Lovely has showed us some excellent diagrams of buildings, dwellings that are going to go up there. She might want to address how that's going to enhance that part of Lower Bridge Street.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I touched upon this last week that we do have 6 single-family homes going in here. We're bringing neighborhoods back, revitalizing Bridge Street Neck, which is also a historic district, for those of you who may or may not know that. So I'm looking forward to bringing our neighborhoods back, to revitalizing that area a bit more. And I'm also hoping in this process we can do something about that beautiful metal box in front of that property. It's very plain right now. Maybe we could bring something to that. I know it's a point of contention in other parts of Bridge Street. But just going forward, if we have our neighborhoods back, we beautify it a bit more and really bring Bridge Street neck up to what it once was, and it's already in the process of doing so.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of second passage of zoning extending R2 district and to include the 43 Bridge Street, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending zoning by adding Section 10 definitions of urban agriculture and Section 3.0 table of principal accessories use regulations by adding urban agriculture.
Councilor O'Keefe.
Mr. President, members of the City Council, my last official report or whatever from the Committee of Ordinances like on legal affairs. Hopefully next year, some wise and prudent member of the City Council will be the chairman, not Councilor O'Keefe from Ward 7. Again, history. I would call on some of my other colleagues, perhaps Councilor Gerard might want to say something on the chickens, and I know you might want to say.
Oh, no, I'm done talking
No,
now.
but this is second and final passage of the chicken ordinance. Talk about taxi cabs and Uber and what have you. Here we are dealing in a chicken ordinance, urban agriculture in 2014. Maybe my colleagues, someone might want to live with me about chickens. No. But maybe just, sir, just let me, people at home, I've got a couple of calls. This is prospective regulation. It doesn't affect people that have chickens now. If they have 4 chickens and want another one, that might have a problem. But it doesn't affect people in Ward 7 specifically that have contacted me because they've been there for 30 or 40 years. I never knew they had chickens, and neither did their neighbors. Up there, Council Sergeant might hear them over where he lives. But anyways, second and final passage.
Any further discussion?
Negative?
Vote, Councilor. Hey, somebody else.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President, and you know, it's wonderful that this is finally coming to a close, and this began back in May, and I think it has been sufficiently boiled at this point.
Oh, God. We'll just leave those. We're just going to forget the rest of those. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to say that this actually began in March, but I'm really pleased with how this came out. I feel like common sense truly prevailed, and I know from the majority of my constituents who had reached out to me about this issue that people are very pleased about this, that, you know, we really thought through this, that the planning board did a lot of work on this, even the zoning board, they thought through this, and hopefully going forward that this will be a good thing for Salem.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Legault?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor O'Keefe?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Siegel?
Yes.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of second passage of zoning amendment to include definitions for the use in the urban agriculture, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 13, surface zone at 100 Jackson Street.
Council Siegel.
Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Council Siegel moves for adoption for second and final passage. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none on adoption. All's in favor? All's opposed?
Mr. President, please.
There's one more to go.
Privilege, please.
Oh, sure.
Excuse me? I'm going to
Yep.
ask for Councilor O'Keefe to still call adjournment. I know he's so very happy to be adjourning his last meeting with Chairman of Legal Affairs, so I don't want to take that privilege away from him. But I just wanted to bring up that we lost a former city clerk in Josephine Fusco last week, and I want to recognize her passing and have Councilor O'Keefe call adjournment and bang the gavel in her name. She was city clerk from November 9th, 1976 until December 31st, 1992. And I think the room over there is named after her, so I just want to recognize her passing, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor O'Keefe.
No, we got one more unfinished business. Unfinished business.
This one here?
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Ober Street.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage and no discussion.
Councilor Epley moves for second and final passage. No discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Uh-oh. Councilor Gerard, then Councilor Terrell. Who else had their hand up? Councilor Famico as well. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege. Just want to let everyone know that on Saturday at Green Lawn Cemetery at noon is Wreaths Across America, which is a fantastic ceremony. And unlike last year where it was, I think, 14 degrees out, it should be a little warmer on Saturday. Also, also in Green Lawn on Sunday evening from 5 to about 8:30, there is going to be the Luminaria, where we are going to light Dearborn Street, Moulton Ave, Lee Street, leading into the cemetery, and we're going to have Dixon Chapel open for, there's going to be snacks and caroling, and it's a great community event, so hopefully people can join us.
Thank you. Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege. I just want to also tell people that this coming Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning is the Festivus 5K race to raise money for autism research. I'm actually wearing a autism research support tie tonight, and all the funds that have been generated by this race over the last 3 years, over the first 2 years and now the third year, have gone to autism research. The last 2 years, last year and this year, the beneficiary has been the Doug Flutie Foundation. It's a wonderful event. It's at Pickering Wharf. We leave from just in front of Finn's, and they're gracious enough to give us the use of their facility, and they put out a nice breakfast for all the runners, and it's a very entertaining time, and I've run it the first 2 years, and I'll be lumbering it again this year. Last year I ran it with the Ward 6 counselor, and we had a terrific time doing the event, right up until the point where she took off and dusted me at the finish, and I expect she'll do it again.
Councilor Famico, then Councilor Fury.
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 points of personal privilege.
Sure, go ahead.
First thing is a reminder to all, next Tuesday, which is December the 16th, the Salem Children's Charity is having their 21st annual holiday fundraiser. That starts at 5 p.m. at Victoria Station. The second point is I invite anyone to come into City Hall. We're just finishing up all the renovations now. If you look around at all the details, even in our chamber right now, I no longer have paint chipping from the ceiling above me. But just want to personally thank the Assistant Building Inspector, Michael Lichakowski, who is behind this project, for his attention to details. And also to thank, well, not only the rest of this body, but all the workers in the building for working with him in that process. I am very pleased with how everything's turning out. Even the details to the windows, they're no longer boarded up here or in the front of the building. Inside, we have new counters throughout many of the offices. It's really a sight to see, and it's also a chance for people to come into City Hall and see where their government's actually running from.
Thank you. Councilor Fury.
Point of personal privilege, please. I want to express my personal sincere appreciation to Kathy, my wife. She's here. And Kathy, sincerely, thank you very much for allowing us to have Bob as our council. Very, very much. Your sacrifice is amazing. But on a personal note, I've seen both of you in good times, great times, in good times, in poor health times of families. And sincerely, you're great role models for parents and your two sons. I remember particularly the graduation of William graduating in June, and how he spent his speech and the great legacy that you provide. I had just attended in June, I think right after graduation, the Democratic State Convention where William attended, and it was such a long, procrastinated convention that it went quite too long, but it was a real role model for William to think about what democracy is all about. And looking at his father and looking at you, what role models you provided, and I've seen many of you, all the time, in music events, football, golf, all the things you do as a parent, both of you, and you're great role models. Sincerely, great role models for public service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Counselor O'Keefe.
You want to say something, sir?
No, I'm all done.
Move for
I've said
adjournment.
enough earlier. Hold on. Counselor Sargent asked that you bang this on behalf of our former city clerk. There you go.
When I was Council Ward 2, the city clerk was Augustine J. Toomey. And by chance, he was a cousin of mine. He lived up on...
That explains a lot.
off of Orchard Street, Augustine J. Toomey. And his assistant was Josephine, she lived over in Ward, at that time, on Loring Avenue, at the house at the corner, the two-family. She lived there, Josephine and her husband lived there. Then they eventually moved up the hill, and they bought that house, and their daughter lived in that house. So I know Josephine, and she was wonderful, and I'd just like to bang the gavel for Josephine for all she's done for the city. She was a spitfire. Move for adjournment.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Want me to take a picture of you and Kathy up here? Yes, come on, Kathy.
Come on.
Why not?